I'm Suresh Babu, working in Catering Science and Hotel Management. So today we are going to discuss about the topics, method of making sponge cakes and venti cakes. So sponge cakes is a light cake made up of eggs, flour and sugar with baking powder. So it is originated from the country Spain and England. So we have four types of methods of making sponge cakes. The first method is creaming method. The second method is melting method. And the third method is whisking method. And the fourth method is rubbing method. So creaming method is the successful method of making sponge cakes. First, it's a technically method. It's have a very good output. So creaming method is first we need to beat butter and sugar to a creamy consistency, and we want to add eggs and the ingredients flour and baking powder to a good mixture, and we want to make it for we want to bake it, we want to dry bake it. So Victoria sponge cake is the famous classic example of creaming method. The melting method, it's another straightforward method which is used in baking. So we need to melt chocolate, we need to melt chocolate and butter together, and we need to add eggs and flour to the mixture, and we need to cream to the consistency with the self-rising agent, and we need to bake it. And another method is whisking method. It's we need to thorough whisk. We need to use electric whisk or manual whisking method. So we need to whisk all the ingredients. We need to whisk to the eggs and sugar together with the dry ingredients, and gently we need to spread in the mold, and we need to bake it. And another method is rubbing method. It's a simple manual method which is followed in all the bakeries. First we need to melt the fat, and we need to melt the fat, and we need to rub the flour manually and with the help of finger tips, and we need to mix all the other ingredients to form a crumbled structure, and we need to bake it. So now we are going to see the recipes of each methods. The first is creaming method. Next is creaming method. This recipe is for making of 1 kg of sponge cakes, Victorian sponge cakes. First we need to have 200 grams of sugar, 200 grams of butter, 4 eggs, 200 grams of flour, self-rising flour, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 tablespoon of or 50 ml of milk. First we need to mix the butter and sugar to a creamy consistency. Then we need to add the flour. Let's mix it with the baking powder. We need to add the flour in the creamy consistency mixture, and we need to beat the eggs, and we need to add in the mixture, and we need to preheat the oven for 200 degrees centigrade for 25 minutes. Then we need to set the mixture into the baking oven for minimum 20 to 25 minutes at a temperature of 180 degrees centigrade. Next we are seeing the whisking method. In the whisking method we have lots of cake preparations. Now we are seeing Swiss roll cakes. It's one of the famous cakes which is done with whisking method. So for this we need to take 100 grams of butter, 2 large eggs, 50 grams of castor sugar, and 50 grams of self-rising flour, and 100 grams of strawberry jam for topping. So first we need to beat the eggs with sugar together for 5 to 7 minutes in a whisk. Then we need to add the flour, which is mixed with the baking powder in the mixture. We need to add it. So after beating the whole mixture, we need to grease the mold. We need to grease the Swiss roll mold, tin or mold. Then we need to pour the mixture in the tin, and we need to bake it for a minimum of 180 degree for 20 minutes. So rubbing method. In the rubbing method, we are seeing scones cakes. So For scones cakes preparation, we need 350 grams of self-rising flour, then 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 85 grams of butter, 3 tablespoons of castor sugar, 175 ml of milk, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. First, we need to preheat the oven for 200 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. Then, at the self-rising flour, we need to add the salt and baking powder together with butter cubes. Then rub in with your fingers until it looks crumbles. Then 3 tablespoons of castor sugar in the mixture. Add 3 tablespoons of castor sugar in the mixture. Put 170 ml of milk into the mixture and nicely blend it with the mixture, and take the greased mold and set it in the oven for 180 degrees centigrade for 20 minutes. Now we are going to see melting method. The famous melting method cakes are brownie. So for making a good brownie cakes around half 1 kg, half kg to 1 kg, we need 180 grams of unsalted butter and 185 grams of dark chocolate and 85 grams of plain flour, 40 grams of cocoa powder, 50 grams of white chocolate and 50 grams of milk chocolate, 3 large eggs and 275 grams of castor sugar. Thus now we need to take 185 grams of butter, cut into cubes and put it in a medium bowl, and break 185 grams of dark chocolate into small pieces and drop it in the bowl. Put over the low heat until the butter and chocolate have melted, stir occasionally to mix them. So remove the bowl from the pan, alternatively cover the bowl loosely with a cling film and put it in the microwave oven for 2 minutes on high. Leave the melted moisture to cool to the room temperature. Then take 85 grams of flour and 40 grams of cocoa powder and sieve it in a medium bowl. Tap the shake for even structure and should not make any lumps on it. So break 3 eggs in a large bowl and mix with castor sugar with the electric mixer for 5 to 7 minutes to become a creamy consistency. Then add milk to the consistency and blend it with 3 to 5 minutes in a whisk. So add the mixture with the melted chocolate mixture, add the egg chocolate mixture with the flour and add the mixture with the eggs mixture. So gently fold the mixture, it will not lose the air. So still finally remove the mixture and prepare in a scraping in a bowl with remove the mixture and mix it with a wooden spatula to get a creamy consistency. So preheat the oven for 200 degrees centigrade for 10 to 15 minutes and place the mixture in a mold for or a brownie mold or a normal baking tray and leave the mixture to bake it for 25 minutes at a degree of 180 degrees centigrade. Take the mixture. After that, we need to take the mixture and we need to shake it the mold to see whether the mixture is done or not. If the mixture is too shaky, the mold is not done. So we need to bake it for another more 10 to 15 minutes to get a correct consistency. Then after baking it for 10 to 15 minutes, take the mold and shake it well and see the side end of the tin. If the mixture leaves the side end and it's not shaky, the brownie is done. And served with vanilla ice cream or thing. Now we are going to see the icings for sponge cakes. So we need to get so for butter icing, we need 500 grams of unsalted butter, 250 grams of vegetable shortening or fat, and 800 grams of sugar, 2 egg whites, 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. First, we need to add butter, fat and sugar and mix it well in a mixer for around 8 to 9 minutes. Now, we need to add the egg white, vanilla essence and lemon juice to get a creamy consistency. Then, if you get a creamy consistency, then slow the speed of mixer or blender to get a froth consistency. Now we need to take up the icings and we need to place it in the sponge cakes. So after assembling the wedding cakes equipment, so the first step in making of wedding cakes is baking of cakes. So yes, a well-baked cake gives a good appearance. So we want to bake the cakes well in advance and need to deep freeze it. Okay, because the deep freezed or well frozen cakes gives a good texture and it will take off the crumble and it will take off the frosting in it and it will give a good appearance. The next is, for first and foremost thing is leveling a cake. So this is a very important thing. First step in making a wedding cake. First you want to level the cakes evenly for appearance and for frosting. Then splitting a cake. You want to split the cakes, that is layering the cakes for keeping the frostings and making a layer in it. Then we need to apply a crumb coat. So what is the first and foremost thing in making a wedding cake is, when you are applying a crumb coat, it starts with the crumb coat. We need to start with the crumb coat. The light and initial coat of frosting or icing in the cake, we need to apply a crumb coat. So to evenly to layer the outer part of the cakes. The next thing is frosting. Before doing the frosting, we need to keep that base in a cardboard to hold it. So when you are holding it firmly, you can apply the icings evenly. Then we need to apply the smooth frosting. So how to apply the smooth frosting is, with the help of palette knife, we need to take up the adequate quantity of icings and we need to apply evenly in the sponge cakes. So then we need to take the cake supports and we need to place it in the center point of the cakes to make a layer. Then we need to keep the base cake and we need to stack the tires. That means the layer of the cakes. The 14-inch base, then it topped with 10-inch base and it with 8-inch base. With the support of that tires, with the support of the cake rods, the cake will balance and place in the base. So then we need to decorate with edible icing flowers or fresh flowers to give a good texture for the wedding cakes. Then we need to decorate with suitable colors to give the occasions very evenly. So first we need to decorate the cakes with the suitable fresh flowers and edible decoratives which is used. So ribbon like decoratives and sprinkles like decoratives and fresh berries are used for making wedding cakes more palatable and appearable in nature. Thank you.